Okay, time to get started. And well, today is the day when we go through some study games. We have 4 games to do today, and importantly, all those 4 games are going to be white to plays. So let's get started straight away with things. It is going to be white to play, and let me take you to our game number 1. It's going to be d4 today as the first game. It's going to be d4. White play d4 instead of e4. D4 game to look at today. Knight to f6. By the way, looks like it's going to be something like a Nimzo Indian or something along the lines of Slav, but it will transpose into a modern defense. Let's see how. White continued with knight f3, black played g6, and after white played knight bd2. Remember, knight bd2. Both the knights could have come on d2, so this is knight bd2. Okay, so after knight bd2, black played bishop g7, completing the fianchetto, and then after e4, black played d6, which is the typical structure. If after the opening it's e4 g6, a similar kind of structure can be achieved, except that there is this knight on c3, which at the moment is located on the d2 square. So that's the only difference. But the thing is that here you have this knight on d2 instead of c3. Barring that, this is totally something in the modern defense. So this game got transposed. Remember the word I'm using, okay? I am saying that this game has gotten transposed into a modern defense. Okay, guys, to stop worrying about what happened, why nobody resigned or what happened, Itesh, do not worry. They will look into it some other day. At the moment, focus. So just need to focus on what's going on here. Okay. Now, absolutely, this is my photo or snap on the English channel. Yeah, 100%. I've told you, by the way, if you're wondering why I'm not visible over the webcam, there is some technical issue. We'll get that sorted. Up until that time, just be content with my with my image. What I'm teaching, of course, is very important. So focus on that. The game continued with white playing bishop c4, and now white is getting ready. He can castle if he wants to. Next move, black castle first, queen e2 first, and after d5 push, capture on d5, exchange of pawns, knight to e4. We are shortly going to arrive at a point where we would like to pause. The knight did come back and attacking the bishop. White did not want to give that bishop, so has kept the bishop. Another thing about this knight and bishop relationship is that this bishop should always be located on the 3rd square from the knight, so that the bishop controls the squares where the knight can go. I repeat what I'm saying. I'm saying that knight can go to a4, knight can go to c4. So bishop should be always on the 3rd square from the knight. So bishop is always influential in controlling the knight that way. The position is perfectly equal for the moment. Black seized the opportunity. He thought that, hey, I'm winning a pawn here. Bishop and the queen attack the pawn while knight's the only one defending it. So after bishop takes and knight takes and queen takes, black has emerged as a pawn up here. Let's see now what was white's idea behind giving this pawn on d4. What was white's plan? Bishop h6. Of course, the rook has to move. There is no other way out of it, as I see. Another bishop becomes so important on that square, and this is why that pawn was given. The reason is the next move is what I want you to find. I won't give you a separate, I don't want to give separate 3 minutes for this. What do you think is white's next move? Just the next move. Don't go on calculating and calculating. Just the next move. So what do you think white is going to do here? Let me know. There have been a few guesses. Namish and Jay think it's queen f3 threatening on f7. However, Vihang thinks it's rook d1. Granth, don't be late. Granth has joined us just now. Spidey also thinks queen f3. Itesh also has joined the list of queen f3 guys. So Mitra also agrees with Vihang that it is rook d1, because after rook d1 we gain a momentum on the queen, and there is no way that the queen can move to a square where she can protect f6. For example, queen f6 is not possible, queen to c4 is not possible, queen to d5 is not possible. So there is no square where queen will go and be able to protect that f7 pawn anyway. So after that, if you want, you can play the move queen f3. Some people are also saying bishop takes f7 sacrifice. Well, that's not the correct answer. Hey Varang, you joined us late, I think. So bishop takes f7 will be a blunder here. That is not the idea. That is so not the idea. So what happened is, in the game, white played c3. However, rook d1 is also very good in this position. So Vihang, Saumitra, wonderful. White achieved the momentum by pushing the pawn and maybe creating a square for the queen or the bishop for the future. However, whatever you said, rook d1 was just perfect. So black put the queen back to h8. Now here is something to calculate. Everybody try to focus now. Stop your guess game. Jai c3 was spot on. So why did black just go to h8? There are many reasons for it. Let me first show you one reason why queen to e5 is not good here. The pawn is attacking the queen, but it will be a big disaster if the queen goes to e5. Let's see if you see that. So if the queen goes to e5, if that happens, did not happen in the game, if that happens, then there is bishop takes f7 check, and after king takes f7, you have knight g5 check, winning the queen in the process. And of course the bishop's protecting the knight. So that's the reason why queen e5 doesn't work. Of course, if there is king h8 over here, then it is bishop e8, and that's absolutely lost position. It's +7 if you put this in the engine. So queen e5 doesn't work. Queen f6 obviously will not work. Queen g7 will obviously not work. Let's consider any other square that we can. Why not queen d7? Queen d6 is not possible. Queen d5 is not possible. These squares are not possible. So clearly there is only two squares now that we can think of. Queen d7 and queen d8. Well, in both the cases, the same thing will happen. Let's say queen goes back all the way to d8. Well, again now after bishop takes f7 and king takes f7, there is knight g5. And now it's very important, if the king goes back, then there is queen e5 and there's checkmate on g7. And if king f6, well, this is all lost. After knight h7, if the king goes back, there is rook d1, and if bishop blocks it, there is rook d4, threatening mate everywhere. Okay, you can do this calculation at length at home. So after c3, the point is that queen h8 is the only retreat, safe retreat for the queen. And you can clearly see that this is not how black would have wanted things out of the opening. Given the fact that the bishop on c8, the knight on b8, the rook on a8 is just absolutely hopeless. So queen h8 was played by black. So indeed queen h8 was the move. And so how does white continue here? h4 was played, push Harry as they say. Maybe that's the plan, to get an open file for the rook. Much stronger move would have been long castling here, but h4, knight 8 d7. Now this is nice. You cannot say knight b d7 because both the knights are on the b file. So knight b d7 is not right. Knight 8 d7 is the right way to do this. Okay, and I will now concede the first 3 minutes for you You go ahead and see if you can calculate this finish. Your time starts now. It is white to play. 3 minutes. Okay, we have an entry by Vihang and we also have it by Saurish. Did you cut, copy, paste? No, I did not. Last 15 seconds. Varang, where are you? Samartha, where are you? Sanchit, where is your calculation? I saw you, saw your chat. Sanchit is here with us, I believe. And the time is up. Indeed, what Vihang says has got total merit. Bishop takes f7 check. The forced move is king takes f7. Black resigned. By the way, black resigned here. But let me show you the finish. King takes f7 is a forced move, followed by knight g5 check. Now the point is black has options king g8 and king f6. Oops, king f6. Those are the options black has. It's a knight check, cannot be blocked. Let's look at both. If king g8, there is queen e6 mate, and even if there is king f6, again there is queen e6 check. So regardless of what he does, queen e6 is checkmate. Let's look at the game one more time. Congratulations to all those who got this. So remember this game can be transposed in a similar way if you are playing e4 and now your opponent plays g6 and d6 with a fianchettoed bishop. The idea is to sacrifice the pawn on d4 like this, and after the rook has been dislodged from its square, attack with rook d1 or with c3. The only safe square is the queen h8. The h8 is the only safe square, and after knight 8 d7, the game is just completely over with bishop takes f7 check as you calculated, king takes f7, knight g5 check. Regardless of where the king goes, it's queen e6 checkmate. Beautiful indeed, and well, I have no doubt that you enjoyed this. So let's continue with the next game at hand. Guys, I recommend that you probably do something on your own rather than just copying whatever you see. This is game number 2. Don't worry about it, Vyang. Let's proceed. Juniors, try to put in your original thought. Sanchit has put the original thought. I agree with Vihang is his thought. Varan said he's thinking. No problem. Next time, think faster. I had allotted 3 minutes of thinking time. This is game number 2. We begin with e4, e5. Knight. No. Oh, bishop opening. Knight to f6. d4. Pawn is temporarily sacrificed. Bishop check. Pawn blocking it. And this is a very interesting line. I urge all of you to play this. Try this sometime. Let's proceed. e4, e5, bishop c4, knight f6. Let him have the pawn on d4. Further, after he takes on c3, give one more. And he shouldn't take there, because if he does take that, then white will get a line similar to Danish. So then white attack the knight. The safe square is knight to e4. Bishop to d5 attacking the knight. Knight takes c3 is also playable here. Of the two moves, white chose bishop d5. The knight went to c5. The pawn captured on c3, winning an initiative and tempo on the bishop. Bishop a5 was played. Now knight g5 is a very nice move. Probably white wants to get 6 points for 6 points. And also go for the move queen h5, threatening mate on h7 and put more pressure on f7. Black responded with knight to e6, wanting desperately to kick that knight. Queen h5 was played regardless. And of course there is a checkmate threat. Let me show you what happens after knight takes. After knight takes, it's a very bad thing for black, because after knight takes g5 and bishop takes g5, the only good move is queen to d8. This cannot be played as the bishop has pinned the pawn. Oops. So queen to d8 looks like it's the only move. And then bishop f6 is just the ending. It's a death knell for black. Should black take this bishop carelessly, there is of course bishop e4, and this mate just cannot be stopped. And there is another trick. It's e takes f6, but clearly winning on the spot is the move bishop e4, not pawn takes. Remember this finish, guys. Remember this finish. So I am saying after queen h5, if knight takes g5, bishop takes, queen e8, bishop. Is that what exactly happened in the game? In the game, h6 was played. Oh, alright. In the game, this line was played indeed. Knight took on g5, bishop takes g5, force move, king e8. And then there was bishop f6. As I have already shown what happens if the pawn takes. Well, the pawn push is also no good. Simply because after queen h6, Omkar sir has taught you that this mate is just unstoppable. Whatever happens, queen g7 is just checkmate. So that doesn't work. Black tried h6 here. And now I want you to do all the calculation in 2 minutes. Do the calculation in 2 minutes this time, not 3 minutes, 2 minutes. White to play here. Okay, we have an entry by Vihang and he's saying it's so epic. Some people think queen f5 and Saurish is saying impossible. Queen takes g7. I don't know how I am able to play that in this position. Jay is right in agreeing with Vihang. Rudra is right. And yes, time is up indeed. It's a spectacular finish. Absolutely the one that Vihang pointed. It's a dream move. It's a dream move for you to be able to play something like this. Even Black for a moment will not believe what just happened there. It's just impossible now to just stop this mate on g7. And the queen actually just is on a square that seemingly is impossible, but it's there. So Black resigned in this position. Let's take a look at this game again. This one is very interesting, by the way. Rupak said that this was the trap he was trying. Sacrifice on d4, remember that. For check, let him take on c3, then get your castling done. If Black goes ahead and takes, then after bishop takes, so White will have a very active position. I will tell you that. Practice that on the engine. Attack the knight, dislodge the knight from there. Bishop d5 attacking the knight. Knight c5 looks like the only move. Is that the only move? Yeah, that looks like the only move. There's bishop here, pawn here, his own pawn here. Well, there is no safe square. So I believe that knight c5 was the only move that Black had in this position. Well, f5 doesn't work. f5 is illegal as the pawn is pinned. After knight c5, the pawn takes, winning the tempo on the bishop. Look at these pieces put on c5 and a5. It's a compensation for the pawn. Immediately set it up nicely with knight g5 and then queen h5 even after the knight has been dislodged. But by the way, what if Black plays h6 here? What if Black plays h6 here? Then knight e4 is very strong with the same idea of hitting on f6 square, maybe sacrificing with the bishop on h6 as well. So this also you can put it in the engine, looks like +1, 1.2 or something like that. But in the game after knight takes g5, bishop takes g5, queen e8, there was bishop f6 threatening checkmate, and after h6 there is this epic move as Vihang rightly said. Absolutely brilliant. Okay, brilliant indeed, and we will now proceed to our game number 3 for today. All 4 games are White to play. Focus on the game at hand. e4, e5, d4. So is it going to be the Danish Gambit? Well, I've selected this line because Grandmaster Nepomniachtchi plays this a lot. Nepomniachtchi, Nepomniachtchi, both are the right pronunciations of his name, and it's very important. So this line is what I've selected because some people after playing e4, e5, d4, pawn takes d4 don't want to push the pawn on c3 but instead want to take with the queen and maintain material equality. You should definitely practice this line. It's definitely very important. Okay, I repeat that Grandmaster Nepomniachtchi plays this. He loves this line simply because White gets to long castle. So any one of you who's fan of open games and fan of long castling, bringing that rook on d1, you got to definitely have this opening in your repertoire. This one is center game, yes, but it is definitely not Danish Gambit. What happens is after Black takes on d4, you take with the queen, let him have that initiative, and queen comes back to e3 with the idea of castling along after bishop to d2 and knight c3, and then the rook actually makes the queen sort of uncomfortable. Notice that the knight is on c6, so the queen doesn't get the shelter like the queen gets in the Scandinavian defense. Guys, I'll say these points again. Please focus on what I'm saying here. What is White's plan here? White wants to go bishop d2, knight to c3, and then long castle, putting the rook on d1, and then harassing the queen by pinning the pawn and even making queen uncomfortable. Well, White is aware that there is knight on c6, so this pawn cannot move and the queen cannot go to c7. But something like this happens every time it's the Scandinavian defense. I'm sure you've seen that. But Black will play c6 and then the queen a5 will happen or queen b6 will happen, but that cannot happen here. So anyone who does not want to play the Danish Gambit after e4, e5 and d4, well, you can definitely follow this line, Grandmaster Nepomniachtchi's favorite line with white. So let's continue from here. Bishop b4 check, c3 and bishop a5. Black's idea is to put the bishop anyway, so sorry, not there, anyway on b6, gaining access to this particular diagonal. So don't think that black is losing tempo here. The idea always was to reroute the bishop to a square that matters from b4 to a5 to b6 and lining up with the queen. So bishop c4, knight ge7, getting ready to castle. And anyway, had black played this, queen anyway belongs to g3, always maintaining pressure on the g file. So after queen g6, black castles. Do not try bishop h6, that's too hasty here. Push Harry. This is the second game where I'm demonstrating that. Push Harry, and after knight g6, push Harry one more time. Now black's idea is to get rid of this bishop, gaining every pressure on f7. Bishop g5 is played, and over here let's see what are the lines. One line that comes to my mind is queen e8, and again the same idea. Can you see? Ayush, this will be a bad example for you to study, because yes, as a beginner you should not put the queen out early, because beginners don't know how to control that queen. You end up moving the queen so many times. But in this game, well, this is an opening that you can learn. If you are okay with it, you can violate that rule if you are playing this opening. And this rule is again violated during the Scandinavian opening as well. So Ayush, I hope you are getting the point. If you move the queen early, what happens is that our queen can be attacked very easily by our opponent. So normally you don't develop the queen early, but as you gain more experience in chess, you will realize that definitely some rules are exceptions. They have exceptions. And I'm happy that people have guessed bishop. I like the guess work done by all of you. You've calculated the moves correctly. Bishop f6 is fantastic. Bishop f6 is just fantastic. So bishop f6 was played. The pawn on g is pinned, so don't think why is black not taking it. It's not possible. Also, knight takes c4 will be just immediate loss because the mate is threatened on g7. So black has no time to take the bishop on c4. So what can black really do? Well, does g6 work here? Let me show you that. g6 does not work here because after h takes g6 and h takes g6, you have rook h8 checkmate. Notice, you don't even have to take something like this. Of course, there is knight, remember that. So this is such a beautiful checkmate. I'm sure you remember Omkar sir's lecture here. What a beautiful finish. This is picture, photo finish. Absolute photo finish. And yes, bishop f6 is very crushing. Look at the variations. So I'm saying after bishop f6, g6 does not work because after h takes g6 and h takes g6, well, knight takes g6, we will take a look at that. But first, notice that there is rook h8 checkmate. There is support of the bishop and it's a lovely checkmate. What's the name of this pattern? Opera mate, as Jay has rightly pointed out. Fantastic, Jay. Brilliant indeed. So why doesn't knight to g6 work here? Why does not knight to g6 work? I will give you some time to think, maybe a couple of minutes. Why doesn't this work? I will give you couple of minutes for this one. Why doesn't this work? Why doesn't knight g6 work here? Mate in 5. I was not doing any talking at all. Don't worry. Mate in 5 follows, guys, from this position. I was not talking. Don't worry. I was not on mute. I was not doing any talking. It's mate in 5 from here. I'm sure you see that, guys. Mate in 5. I had not muted myself. I wasn't doing talking. It's mate in 5 here. I just wanted you to see the finish. Over here, queen h6 does the job. The mate threat is queen g7. The only flop tries black has is just queen takes e4, this bishop e2, this queen takes e2, knight takes e2, bishop takes e3 check. Notice how many flop things can come into picture here. Knight, any knight can come actually to just block this check. Then there is another checkmate threat. But all in all, this position is completely lost with mate either on g7 or on h7. Brilliant. Now, this is a very important game. Let's analyze this one more time because I shared a new idea with you. e4, e5, d4. After pawn takes, take with the queen. Allow him that tempo. The idea is we want this pawn stuck up on c7 so the queen has no shelter. Queen retreats to e3. That's a very important thing. Queen retreats to e3 and here is the plan, general plan for white. Bishop rerouted, and if the bishop does come on b6, you all know now that queen belongs to this g3 square. So after this, anyway, the queen went to g3 and there was this beautiful bishop g5. Don't worry about saving that bishop. First play strong with initiative and tempo. So if black just takes the bishop, he'll lose the queen. Of course, this is a move. Well, what happens over here if that knight retreats to e7? In that case, this knight becomes free. I'm sure you've seen that. An attack on the bishop as well. It's very easy to see. And black still doesn't have this fork because this bishop has pinned the pawn. A lot of things to see here. So after queen e8, there is bishop f6 that's crushing, as Soumitra said. And the rest is history. I've shown you all the kinds of mate moves. Let's go to the next game. So this is the last game for today from the white perspective. And this is the 4-knight game. This is especially for the players who always tend to get this kind of a symmetric position. Let me know if you all get this kind of symmetric position, guys. So often would that happen, is it not? Rajna is saying it's a favorite. Yeah, but I'm saying that this is particularly good. Yeah, if your opponent, just tries to do everything that you do. So notice how white is able to win here. I can reveal now that the name of the white player is Capablanca. I repeat, the name of the player with the white pieces is Jose Capablanca. And I'm sure you remember Jose Capablanca with the spelling Jose. I'm sure you remember, guys. So this is very important. Soumitra is giving us reference of our class. So he's saying that this is Samartha versus Datta game, and Datta was white here, unfortunately crushed him with Berserk. Yes, but this game is from Jose Raul Capablanca, a Cuban player. Yeah. No, the J is not silent, it's pronounced her. Not silent, guys. Anyway, how to gain advantage from this position is that you play knight b5. Now you notice that the knight is pinned and attacked twice. Black can also try the same, but this is where white is better because black is simply trying to copy everything. Queen d2, queen d7, bishop takes f6, bishop takes f3, and now I will give you 3 minutes of time to calculate as much as you can. 3 minutes of thinking time from this position, guys. Okay, the time is up, and let's see what's the best continuation here. I've received a lot of entries. Nice, good. But here is what works perfectly here. I am saying perfectly, and that's why I think it's worth showing you this game. Well, Jose Raul Capablanca finished black in this manner. There is knight e7 check. Now, I'm sure you see that if queen takes e7, well, then bishop takes e7 just wins on the spot. So the forced move in this case, more or less forced, is king h8. And now look at the beautiful finish. There is bishop takes g7 check. The forced move is king takes g7. Then there is queen g5 check. There is king h8. Queen f6. It's just checkmate. This is absolutely brilliant. Now, how many people actually calculated this? How many people calculated all of this? How many people? Exactly the way I showed you. This is just brilliant stuff. Absolutely perfect finish. Let's start from this position. Knight e7 check. Everything is forced. I mean, queen takes knight is just lost on the spot. If queen takes e7, bishop takes e7 is over. But this is a check, so black has to deal with king h8. And then bishop takes g7, forced king takes g7. And after queen g5, king h8, queen f6 is just checkmate. So just remember this. Now the point of this position is that if you first start in this position with bishop takes g7, it is not at all winning, because then black continues with the same idea of a knight e2 check, and if now king h1, well then Soumitra, white will probably be bearing the brunt of this all, and the similar kind of mate is what we will suffer. So the mate is not the calculation at all with bishop takes g7. The forced move is not bishop takes g7. There is no win like that. The only way to win is knight e7 check, and after that king to h8 force. Everything is forced. After knight e7 check, there is no if or but. Either you take the knight or you move the king. Anyway, it's hopeless. And this is a beautiful photo finish. If you play bishop takes f7, it will be white who will lose the game. Let's take a look at this game before I move on to the next one. Okay, that is, we will decide whether we want to do tactics or should I play a game first on leeches and then do a tactic. e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, the 4-knight game, but with the Italian setup. If you get a symmetrical structure with the pawns here, and then the bishop is out, where you can pin the knight, he has pinned the knight, you both are double attacking, so knight on f6 is under pressure here, and the knight on f3 is under pressure here, but white plays first, remember. So get your queen out of the pin, he will also do that, copycat, and then after bishop takes f6, white is completely winning in the way I showed you. Knight e7 check, king h8, bishop takes, queen g5 check, queen f6 is check. This is absolutely brilliant. So people, carry on with your chat a little while, because people want me to play 3+2, so I will have to log in to leeches. Hold on, continue your chat, and I will definitely be back. Searching for a good opponent. 2+2, let's do that. French defense. Vihang will be happy. Vihang will be very happy here. Oh, this was bad. I will give up. This was bad. Of course, we are playing with 2-1-1-6. Let's see with this one. Let's see. Let's analyze this game, guys. It's very quick, very fast. We have played the opening really well, I must say. Oh, the computer wants us to go for this b4 push immediately. This queen move computer does not like. Yeah. So the computer does not like that queen move, guys. This move was a computer suggestion, but then the position... Ooh, now queen should have been played first here, but that's minus 2.4. So I believe out of the opening, we played it very, very well indeed. I must say. Played really, really well. We played h3. Yeah, that's a computer suggestion. Fair enough. Knight was the computer suggestion. Instead of immediately going for it, we could have pressed c4. That's nice. I'm happy with the way we put a fight against 2-1-1-6. Remember, we were playing with 2-1-1-6. That's a brilliant thing. We'll play one more, guys. One more. But we'll wait for a good opponent. I don't want to play with an opponent who is very easy and some game that we cannot finish in the available time that we have. So this one is 3 plus 0 but 1-7-7-4. I don't want to play. Let's see what we got here. Ooh, there was this guy with 1900 almost rating a 3 plus 0. This one is 0 plus 10. Who plays that? A bullet game? No, right? This is 5. Ooh, is that the same guy? We will do just one tactical position later. These are bullet games, but I must say, bullet games is not what we want right now. Oh, this is the Karokan, and I'm going to go for this variation. Your homework is to find out the name of this variation, guys. What is the name of this variation? The name of this variation, please. Correct, it is the fantasy variation. Brilliant indeed. Very good. Vihang and Saumitra. Nice. Good work there. Proud of you guys. Now what? Very interesting indeed. We have a very good game at hand. We are completely winning here. We give a check. Take the knight. King takes it. Can always drop back, I suppose. Because now if he castles, so still the knight will hang. If he pushes this pawn, well no, this is not fair. Now I can go for this. And yeah, that's a wonderful victory. It's a very good victory. And so we are 2002 now. Brilliant. He wants a rematch, but I think we have played 2 games when we wanted to play just 1. And now we are 2002. I've entered that 2002 mark again. Very good. Prajna has actually googled this a lot. Very good, Prajna. Very good. Don't send the same message again and again. Earlier also for the first game we were 2000 and came back. By the way, let's quickly analyze this. We played this very well. This is the fantasy variation. Although this move was a mistake, I should have taken on d5, that's for sure. I want to see whether queen exchange was the right decision. Yes, queen exchange was the right decision. And knight b5 as well, computer suggestion, I like that. Now computer says let's play the fork first, and what I played was also winning, but this is +4. Let's see why. Well, after knight fork, if the king moves, okay, then I can take this with a check. Ooh, that's why. That's why the knight check first is the way to go. Knight check, and if king here, then also I take this, and if he takes this, then what happens? When there is this check, force move, check, force move, check. Is that mate? So he has to play this. OMG. I did not, it's a 3+1 game. I did not calculate that much. But yeah, for sure this one was good, except for the opening. Knight c3 comes first before c4. I mean, that was definitely bad. The pawn push was fine. Everything else we played was okay. Yeah, exchange was good, but here that was the right decision, and he resigned here because it's +10. You can see the calculation is +10. Alright, I think Vihang and Saumitra both did say the right name to it. It is 7 o'clock almost. Do you want to do just one position for tactics or stop for now? What do you want to do? Let me draw the arrows. It's black to play. Do you want to take the knight? Do you want to give a check? Do you want to play a4? Or do you want to play sorry, not a4, h5, or do you want to play h6, or is it none of these? 3 minutes for you to think. Only one position, guys. Only one position. Ayush, no homework for you because it is Ganesha festivities. We are also not going to be there live on Sunday. It's holidays. Enjoy your Ganesh festivities. No homework for you. Maybe just practice a few tactics on leeches without logging in. You can do that. Meanwhile, Saumitra is saying that he just did this position in the morning. Okay, this morning. So he probably has reached that 2411 rating. So later at the end of the countdown, Saumitra can definitely share his answer. Don't share it now so that people can just copy you. Yes, Saumitra can say it at the end of the countdown, not now. Vihang, Sanchit, Chinmay, I did tell you, Chinmay. Come on, Chinmay. Chinmay is saying it's tough position. Jay has said that the multi-named arrow is the right thing. Final 5 seconds. He says h5, the rook goes back, and then h4, the rook comes back, and knight d3 check. King c2, knight f2 later. It's a fork. Is it? Time is up. Jay did try that when the time was almost up. I didn't ask Jay not to try. The time was almost up. Even Saumitra can now go ahead and say if he agrees with that. And what are the others with the knight d3 check say? So golden arrow, the golden or the multi-named arrow indeed is correct. Knight d3 check works later. Knight f2. But guys, this whole position is based on only one idea. Let me share that idea now with you. The idea is that after the pawn comes to h5, the rook will only have one square to go, and once the knight comes on this c2 square, the rook will have no squares to protect this knight. The whole idea revolves around getting that rook to get out of these two squares, which are important to protect the knight. That's the whole idea. So definitely h5, you pester the rook one more time, and now you give a check, and later when you come to c2, now the rook has no other squares to go, so we can definitely win the piece. So we are now 2 for 2-0, and we have done the one tactic that we wanted to do successfully. All right, fantastic. We'll stop for now, guys. Had fun with you guys. See you tomorrow 5 minutes early for our first ever Swiss format tournament. I'm as excited as you are. I'm sure you are excited, guys. All the best. August champion. We'll find out for tomorrow. By the way, do remember those who are going to celebrate Ganesha, they're going to bring the idol home. Please send your photos. I'll share, and please send them to me on my WhatsApp number, not on the group. I will share it live during the lecture so that everyone can have fun and at the same time take online darshan of your bhakta. So we can do that. We will stop for now and we will meet tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.